This is Mostly Grief with Matt Wilson. Let's pick up where we left off. In the first episode, I told you the story of how my wife and I found out that she had cancer. If you missed it, go back and listen. It makes this chapter easier to follow. The episode is called Chapter 1, The Diagnosis. So after you find out you have cancer, in our case anyway, that's really it. You just kind of wait. Now, it's the only thing happening in your world, but for the hospital, it's one case out of hundreds. Your world stops, but theirs doesn't. You just kind of get shuffled into their workflow, and then you wait until it's your turn. So we waited. 3 days of patiently waiting. Well, Kelly waited patiently. I'm not a patient person. I'm the guy who gets annoyed at the person buying scratch-offs in front of them at the gas station. So yeah, I waited very impatiently. When we finally talked to her colorectal surgeon, it was about 3 days later. Let me back up, actually. Let me back up 20 years. Kelly already had a colorectal surgeon because she was diagnosed with Crohn's disease in her late teens. And every Crohn's patient needs a surgeon they can trust. Crohn's is also what put her at higher risk for developing colorectal cancer in the first place. So 3 days later, we finally get the call. Her surgeon, who we love and trust, confirmed what we already knew, which was you have cancer. He also gave us a very loose version of a treatment plan. It was loose because he wasn't her oncologist. We hadn't met the oncologist yet. We wrote everything down, and then we just waited again. Now remember, this was the beginning of COVID. Empty stores, empty streets, no school, totally bizarre time. Now, one of the things you might remember from those days is that family members couldn't go into doctor's appointments. Imagine this. You learned your wife has stage 3 rectal cancer less than 10 days ago, and you can't go into the appointment with the oncologist who's going to tell you how to treat it. Super frustrating. So we leaned on technology to, air quotes, get me in the room. Kelly called me from the exam room on her phone. I was parked at the top of the parking garage at the hospital, looking out over the empty city streets, had my notebook in my hand, sunroof open. I was trying to be ready. Then the doctor walks in. I couldn't understand a thing he was saying. The room was echoey. He was on the other side of the room because of COVID. He was wearing a mask, so I heard like, and whenever Kelly talked, the volume was like blasting because the phone was on her lap. When he talked, I heard nothing. It was infuriating. I was so mad. It was scary too. So I had to rely on Kelly taking notes, which is not her strongest skill. She was brilliant, but she could not listen and write at the same time. So when she got back to the car, she told me everything she remembered, and I wrote it all down as fast as I could. And with that, the plan started to take shape. We used one of those little red notebooks as our roadmap, our Bible for the next 8 months. I can actually still picture the pages if I close my eyes. Unfortunately, I threw it away recently. I kept the notebook, but I tore out the bad pages and gave it to my son to write songs in or whatever. Only later, when someone suggested that I should write a book or a podcast, did I realize I should have kept it, but too late now. But the plan, here's what it looked like. 12 weeks of chemo on a 14-day cycle. Day 1, infusion. Day 2, wear an infusion pump home. Day 3, back to the hospital for a flush and a disconnect. Day 4 through 13, rest. And then rinse and repeat. Regular blood tests, monitor CEA levels, manage side effects. Then 5 weeks of radiation every day for 5 weeks with chemo pills. And then 10 weeks of rest. And then surgery. Surgery, remove the rectum, remove the tumor, and a full hysterectomy. And that was the plan. That's what we lived by. It was our guide for 2020. We talked about it constantly to each other, to family, to friends, videos, to Facebook groups. Start chemo in March, end with surgery in November, and then we thought it'll be over. To make communications easier, we created a Facebook group. We called it Team Kelly for Life. Hashtag Team Kelly, the number 4, life. Team Kelly for Life. And Kelly decided to record video updates instead of writing long posts. Like me, she used to work in radio. Talking was natural for her, and it's faster than writing. The plan seems simple, right? Chemo, radiation, rest, remove. Merry Christmas. See you later. Update everyone on Facebook. We're good to go. So you can imagine how hard it hit us when we found out we weren't good to go. But I'll save that for the next episode. Before I wrap this one, though, if you're at the beginning of a cancer journey or is supporting someone who is, I can't recommend a private Facebook group enough. Team Kelly for Life helped us stay connected, stay sane, keep people informed, and most importantly, we felt the love coming back at us every time she put out a post or a video. It was a really special group of people. That wraps up this episode. The plan is in place. Up next, Chapter 3, the treatment. Thanks for listening.